Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to another episode of I Like a Oreo. Holy crap, it has been a long time. I hopped on to my channel the other day. By the other day, I mean yesterday. I've been really bogged down with work and other crap and making a whole bunch of other excuses for why I haven't been making videos. I don't have any real excuses. But I have been making videos, and I looked at my channel and I saw how fast time had really flown by, because since my training started, I mean, it was really toward the end, or toward the last I Like Oreo video, when I started like my training and everything at my new job. And holy crap, it's been a long time. It's been like 3 months since the last episode of I Like a Oreo. It's ridiculous. I hope you guys have been having a happy holiday. Happy Halloween, happy Thanksgiving, all that. I'm sorry that it's been so long. I really need to get these videos out though. So, um, we've been farming. You might be able to tell by the 30 million mana we've accumulated. It's kind of becoming like the staple number between all my accounts of the amount of mana that I end up with after leaving for a long time. And if you've seen my most recent episode of From the Crumbs, which should be uploaded right before this, you will have noticed that I did pull a wind lightning emperor, and on this account I pulled a water one. I actually pulled the water one on this account before the wind one on that account, so now the accounts are twinsies. uh, the third nat 5 that they have in common, right? Yep, third nat 5, third non-farmable nat 5, after Chiwu and Sekhmet, that they have in common, which is kind of cool. I like seeing some overlap between the accounts. But general nat 5, lightning emperor, one's wind, one's water. This one, in my opinion, is a lot of fun. Pretty crazy in RTA, awakens into accuracy, has a pretty insane third skill. For those of you who don't know, first skill steals beneficial effects. As he gains beneficial effects, he gains knowledge. Whether that means he gets buffed by his ally, whether that means he steals a beneficial effect. Synergizes really well with units like Elsharion, because Elsharion steals beneficial effects, gives him your whole team. Goes really well with anybody who gives a lot of buffs as well. And then in addition to that, once he's hit that 5 knowledge mark, he could decrease the enemy's max HP by 50%, which is pretty nuts. And then he heals all of his allies for that decreased HP. So even without a Molong in your team, with a Molong in your team, he's insane. Even without a Molong in your team, he's going to be able to heal your team a whole bunch and deal a whole bunch of damage to those really big targets that are hard to deal damage to. So I pulled him. Pretty happy about that. Recent 6 stars. So Praisvelg, I pulled him a while back. I got him 6-starred and max skilled. Yes, currently max skilled. I recently 6-starred my Jasoon. I'm going to be working on her for Guild Wars, Guild Siege, and Labyrinth. I want to start clearing Labyrinth more consistently. I only have like 2 teams right now, I believe, that can clear it. So that I can get those rewards, because those grindstones and gems from the Guild Labyrinth are really strong. Lucian hasn't really had any improvements. He's been sitting where he's at, right around 100% crit rate. He's fine for everything I use him for. It's really hard to find upgrades for him, because a lot of the runes on him are actually like legendary runes. And the biggest improvements are probably going to be through enchants and grinds. You guys saw me craft a few runes right there. Not too bad. Speed, crit rate, HP, speed, crit rate. These are generally the kind of runes I look for. I want to talk about this rune. It's a blue 6-star rune, and at face value, I feel like a lot of players might not really see the strength of 6-star blue runes, but probably my favorite runes after 6-star purple runes are 6-star blue runes. And it sounds like obvious and really stupid and redundant thing to say, but what I mean by that is, with a 6-star blue rune, there's still a whole lot of potential for good stats, but at the same time, your stat pool is really limited, because it's limited to 2 substats that it can roll. So if it rolls, high or decently high into those substats, it can be pretty good. And then at the plus 9 and plus 12 points, if it rolls into the right substat, which is a lot of things that have to line up, given. But it's a common enough rune where you can keep powering them up, keep looking for certain stats, and at the very least, it's going to be like a B tier rune. And for the most part, the thing I struggle with on most of my accounts is actually having runes for my other units. I essentially can rune up 1 or 2 really good supports, 1 or 2, sometimes 3 nukers, depending on how many different sets I'm using. But my my like rune quality preference is usually really high, so I really struggle with having runes for like my extra units. So runes like this are really really nice. Hopefully it rolls crit damage, and then into attack, and then it would just be a good general nuker rune. Anyways, these are the kind of things that I've been looking for and grabbing. Attack, not bad, 6%, 2 less than max roll. So I just wanted to power these kind of runes up so I could talk to you guys a little bit. I have been farming a crap ton. Like, as I said, you can see by the just sheer amount of mana that I've accumulated. I'm not the kind of person to, just save mana and not power up runes, period. For the most part, I actually, power up any runes as I get them, but also I'm very, very stingy with my mana. So for the most part, if I think a rune, or if there's not a reasonable chance of that rune turning into something that I'm going to use, I sell it instantly. I don't think twice about it, because at the end of the day, it's like, although I have a lot of mana right now, like this mana could all disappear in a matter of like, a week or a month, really, really, really quickly, depending on if I'm moving around runes, depending on if I just decide to power up like, 20 or 30 runes, it's like, it's all gone, So it's a resource that's really valuable, especially when it comes to, making fast progress, So I want to have enough mana so when I get those things, I'm ready to go. So I don't have a crit damage enchant. If I did, I think I might use it on this rune, even though it didn't roll perfectly. The speed was 1 lower than it could have been, and the crit rate was 2 lower. But I've been looking for stuff like that. In general, my overall rune quality is okay. There's still a lot of things I'm looking for in runes. There's still a lot of, meh kind of runes. Like this is a legendary rune, but it has crit rate built in, so it's kind of weird. I've got a lot of those kind of awkward runes. So in general, I haven't really made huge changes in runes. I've played around with my teams a little bit more. Geez, I didn't realize how weird my Megan was. But I've been generally playing around with the same stuff. I'm farming a crap ton of giants, and I actually have a whole lot of food right now, just because the amount of food I get from, TOA, the summoning scrolls I get, or any sort of scrolls or stones that I get through farming. I'll go ahead and show you guys my box for anybody who's curious. There's not too much going on in it. Mostly just food. I do plan on leveling up and making Mentura higher level sometime for TOA. For the most part, though, I can clear almost all of TOA normal. I've just been nuking it. So for the most part, this TOA team, will clear just about any stage. The CC from Lapis is usually enough. Sometimes I'm able to nuke it just straight up. The biggest thing I'm working on my account in general right now, at least for the Laika account, is to have a larger variety of units in the box, just more fun stuff to play with. Of course, Hraesvelg is a staple unit, a staple net 4 that I build on any account that I have him on, just because he's so strong. For those of you who don't know or don't use Hraesvelg, continuous damage for 2 turns, or 2 continuous damage effects for 1 turn with a 60% chance at max skill. A brand for 2 turns, and he replenishes 50% of his attack bar afterward. Pretty nice. It's on a 2-turn cooldown, so it's a very spammable ability for him. It just helps him cycle through his turns faster. A 3rd skill that buffs the speed attack of all allies for 2 turns. Pretty nice. In addition to that, when it's on cooldown, he gets increased attack speed, which is like 30, I believe, 20 or 25 or 30, just flat increased attack speed, and he gets 10% HP every single turn that he takes that this is down, and this is on a 3-turn cooldown, so this is really spammable ability as well. Almost 100% uptime with the fact that he gets so many additional turns, so whether you're using him in Giants or wherever, really, really sick unit if you want to get a lot of turns. He's also really good in PvP. I see a lot of people put him on a Despair build. It's not bad. AoE ability, I feel like Violent could be just as viable. When it comes to PvE content, of course, he's pretty strong. I really like him just about everywhere in the game. The self-healing effect makes him really nice for earlier Giant Speed 10 teams when you're transitioning to a team that's faster. It gives you a backup attack buffer, a speed buffer, so he's a really good unit if you're replacing Bernard in that standard safe team where you have Vero, Megan, Bella, and then, or Vero, Shannon, Bella, and then you'd have Bernard and Lapis, or Bernard and Sig, or whatever. You could replace that Bernard with this. You'll get just as much of a, you'll get speed just as often, but in addition, you're going to have crazy damage output. The brand is going to increase your other damage. Even on a speed crit damage HP or speed HP build, this guy is still going to bring so much to the table because all the utility and debuffs he has. So he's just a really, really sick unit. So I'm building him up because I'm probably going to end up using him in Giant Speed 10. We'll see. The thing is, I don't want to slow down my team. I did revert a little bit from Galleon because the more I play the game, the more I hate Galleon's AI in general. I'm just not happy with his AI. He's just a stupid unit in terms of, you know, skill priority, and it might sound like conspiracy theorist kind of talk when I say this, but it really feels like Comtois has done as much as they can to make Galleon less OP than he can be, because in general, I know Galleon misses effects, and that's to be expected with the accuracy resistance formula in this game. I completely understand that, and that does not at all upset me. What upsets me is the fact that there are times where he just does not use his third skill because he chooses not to use it. That is very frustrating, because even right here where Bella gets resisted, I understand that. That's fine. I can accept that. It makes sense. But when Galleon just takes 2 or 3 turns in a row and he's prioritizing his second skill over his third skill, and then his first skill when his third skill's up, it just doesn't make sense. And it's kind of aggravating to watch your runs fail because of AI issues like that. So I've reverted to Bella Megan. In addition to that, it takes even more of the AI out of it, because I pretty much just rely on Lucian for wave clear, and then you know, I have multiple strips just in case there's an attack buff. I've got the heal from Bella just in case my team gets a little bit low, and I have extra dots. So I have essentially 3 dotters in this team. I have dots from Hua, dots from Megan, and dots from Laika. So I have backup sources of damage. I've got the defense buff from Megan, so my team has even more survivability. And generally, it's still a really fast run. So I'm not at all upset about, you know, taking Galleon out of my team. And in most cases, I really don't like Galleon. As you may have noticed on some of my other accounts, you know, the Fresh Made, you know, is not, of course, not going to have a Galleon, so you're not going to have to worry about it there. But just in terms of the from the Crumbs account, you know, the Crush Cookie account, you're going to see me avoid Galleon as much as possible, and you know, for good reason too. So having this team switched out has made my team more consistent, and you know, when you're not seeing fails all the time, it definitely raises your morale and allows you to farm more. And it's a lot easier for me on these side accounts to just totally you know, forget what's going on, you know, just keep clicking the replay button, automatically, you know, click and keep the runes that are good, sell the runes that are bad. And I can really go into autopilot really well on accounts like the Laika account, which is why it's really easy for me to just get ridiculous amounts of mana, because I don't, you know, there's nothing holding me back from flying through those crystals. You can see my crystal count is not above 1,000, and usually when my crystal count is not above 1,000, I'm kind of worried. I'm going to fly through TOA. I'm going to at least clear TOA normal and see if I can clear TOA hard. In addition to that, for those of you who don't know, I summon all my summoning stones. Every Lucian rotation on all the accounts I do it, just because additional Lucian on this account means 10 seconds faster in Giant Speed 10 probably. So that's one thing. I was summoning for that. No luck. I wasn't really worried. It was only like 5 summons or whatever. It wasn't really a lot of summons, so I wasn't expecting too much. It gave me more food. I have enough food for almost 3 6 stars. We talked a little bit about 6 stars, but I'll go back in a second here and talk about stuff like that. I have been focusing, you know, just so much on trying to expand my box in terms of both rune, you know, quantity and of course quality as well. If I see a quality rune, I'm going to take it. Like this has potential that if it ignores resistance and then rolls HP or accuracy. You know, runes for like a unit like Lupinus. So I really like Lupinus for TOA. I do use her quite a bit, or I have been. Her runes often get moved around, but I have her on a crit free build, or as little crit as I could get, because I was using her in a Leo Ragdoll stage last rotation, so her runes did get switched a little bit. But I'm probably going to 6-star Bolverk next, because he's just, I mean, he's a nat 5, and I want to play around with new toys, you know, for the sake of fun, not for the sake of any direct purpose. I'm probably going to end up using him in Guild Wars and Guild Siege. A really strong unit, like I said. In addition to that, I'll probably try him out in a little bit of RTA. The big thing for this account is there's a lot of units that want runes, or a few, I should say, a few units that have runes, specifically Laika, that I just don't farm for yet. Like, for example, I don't farm Necro. I don't intend on farming Necro anytime soon. I'm not even thinking about dragons yet. So it kind of sucks not having Vampire on Laika, because that would make him a really, really good unit for RTA. You know, I have Samath for the speed lead, a really good PvP unit. And Sekhmet's pretty decent. She's okay in a lot of situations. She's better in Guild Wars, in my opinion. But we'll see where we go from here. In terms of units, I'm actually not really looking for anything. You know, I have a solid wind, water, and fire unit I'm really happy with. I have Hraesvelg on this account now, so I am going to be playing around with a hybrid Hraesvelg build. There's other places in the game I want to play around with him at. I'm not going to talk about those yet, because I don't know if it's going to... I don't know, you know, whether or not it's going to work. So I do want to do a whole bunch of testing before I go ahead and recommend a unit for you guys to use. But that's pretty much it for what I've been working on. Yeah, so, you know, you guys know, next 6-star is going to be Bolverk. We're going to see what we can do with him. We're going to skill him up now that everybody else is skilled up. Hraesvelg's all skilled up. I mean, Lucian's been skilled up forever, but Chasun's not going to get skill ups just yet, just because I'm not super worried about her, and I'd kind of want Violent Runes if I'm going to be using her, so maybe we'll be looking at a Dragon Speed 10 team pretty soon here. We'll see. I mean, my runes probably are in the right place to be able to do it, so I'll play around with some compositions and see what I can do on my account. If you guys have any questions or comments, as always, be sure to leave them below. I will get back to you as soon as I can if you comment. But that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Hey guys, it's West again. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe for more.